Hello everyone. Well, I'm back with you today because I want to talk to you about something that is very important when it comes to home canning. Now, we've talked before a lot about which foods should be done in the water bath canner and which ones should be done in the pressure canner. And I've seen a lot of comments lately about water bath canning everything and about how people in Europe water bath can everything. And so I wanted to talk to y'all today about the pros and cons and the risks. And so I've done some research, quite a bit of research over the last few days about what it takes to kill botulism and, how to know, the processes to do that. So I want to start by saying that in order for you to get botulism in your food, there first has to be botulism bacteria, or the botulism spore has to be present. And so, a lot of people water bath can everything, and they may go and do that for years and years and never have a problem because the spore was not present. But how are you going to know if that spore is present? So, I know our ancestors all did that. People in Europe are still doing it. They're water bath canning everything. But now, the reason that we have a differentiation between what food should be water bathed and what food should be put in a pressure canner is because of the amount of heat transfer. Our universities and agencies here in the United States have done way more research on this than anyone in Europe and other countries. And right now in the United States, we only have about 145 cases a year of botulism in the United States. Now, let me say this. There are 3 different kinds of botulism. There's what they call infant botulism. There is wound botulism. And then there is foodborne botulism. And so this 145 cases includes all 3 kinds, and only 21% of those are from foodborne. So, you're talking about, maybe 20 or 30 cases a year in the United States. And we'll talk about Europe again a little bit in a few minutes. But the biggest reason for the foodborne botulism cases in the United States is due to improper home canning processes. And so that's the first thing that I wanted to say. Now, in order to prevent the botulism and kill out if the spores happen to be present, you either have to have high acid foods that have, added vinegar, added citric acid or lemon juice, or something that's a naturally high acid food, or it needs to be put in a pressure canner. Now, the difference between a pressure canner and the water bath, when you water bath something, the temperature, no matter, I don't care where you're at, well, it does matter where you are. The boiling point at sea level for just water bath is going to be 212 degrees. The higher your altitude, the lower the temperature, the lower the degrees it's going to take. So, for instance, if you were on Mount Everest, it would only take 165 degrees to get to boiling. So, from sea level at 212 to the highest point on Mount Everest would be a difference between 212 and 165 degrees. Well, for those of you who live in an area, and this is most of the United States, where you use a 10 pounds of pressure for your altitude, then it's going to take, you might reach boiling at 220 degrees or 200 degrees, depending on where you are. So then the difference in that is in pressure canning. And I'm going to tell y'all something here in a minute that will hopefully drive this home. Pressure canning will get the temperature up to 240 plus degrees. And you have to get food temperature up to 240 degrees in order to kill botulism. And not just botulism, a lot of other bacterias. Now, what I was going to say is this right here. I used to work in a medical field. Now, y'all know that I use an All-American canner. And some time ago, when I was researching to buy my canner, I ran across on the All-American website, they sell an All-American equipment that is a sterilization process for medical instruments. It is because that piece of equipment, which is called an autoclave, will get to 240 degrees. And it will kill at that 240 degrees or higher. It'll kill a whole lot of different kinds of bacteria. So in Europe, I found that they also have a high amount of botulism. They have as much in Europe, approximately, where did I see that? Around 200 cases a year. I believe that's what I saw. And I also read that most of those cases that are foodborne come from Italy. Now, Italy, the United States is 32 times the size of Italy. But in Italy, they water bath almost everything. And of course, that's a big country as far as they're big on canning there. And so, but they don't have the technology or the research that the United States has for canning processes. So, when you take meat and low acid foods and put them in a water bath canner, to me, it's like playing Russian roulette. You're taking that kind of a chance. It's a risk that your family's going to get sick. And I saw a while ago that some of the symptoms of botulism is hard to breathe, throat closing off, exhaustion, just all kinds of stuff. And people do die from botulism. So please look at your books. And, I'm like all of you. All my family did this. They canned out over a open fire and, in barrels and all kinds of stuff. And canned everything that way. But I'm telling you, I don't do that now because my family's important to me. I don't want to make them sick. I don't want to risk making them sick. So it's your kitchen, your rules, but it's also your risk. So I'm going to end it right there. I just wanted to, bring this to you, help you to understand why those processes are there. And this will probably be my last video for, I don't know, at least a week, I'm sure, because my surgery's tomorrow, and I don't know how long after that before I will be able to get up and really do a whole lot. So anyway, I appreciate y'all's prayers, and I really, really appreciate y'all watching my channel. Just thank you for all that you've done as far as being here. and helping me to grow the channel. Please like and subscribe and share my channel with your friends and family. And I'll see you all hopefully in a few days.